Hello, ladies, and welcome to Coffee Talk. My name is Nina, and I will be your host today. If you're ready to scale your business, but English is holding you back, you are in the
Hey,
right
Nina.
place. I'm so excited to introduce my guest, Milena Abramović. Milena, welcome to Coffee Talk.
Hi, Nina. Thank you for having me. It's great to
How are
be
you
on
doing
podcast.
today?
I'm actually a little bit cold because I'm in the Alps, but otherwise I'm very excited to be here.
Thank you so much once again for joining us. Let's start with you. You have lived a true suitcase life, as I have seen. You went from being a flight attendant to working in HR, and now you run your own coaching business. So tell us a bit more about you, about your
Mhm.
business, anything that comes to your mind.
Yeah, that's right. So I left Serbia in 2004 for 6 months as a trial, and then I stayed for 16 years in Dubai. Indeed, I started as cabin crew. I worked for an airline, and then I did move to HR. So yeah, a brief introduction. As you mentioned, I'm Milena, and I'm founder today of Dynamic Development Hub. I'm also certified neuroscience or results coach. And a Lego Serious Play facilitator, the only one accredited in Serbia actually for that type of program. So I'm very proud of that. As you mentioned, yeah, with over a decade of HR experience where I worked in talent development and recruitment. And today, my business is all about helping individuals and organizations unlock their full potential through creative science through coaching and obviously for Lego Serious Play. Whether it is in a team or organizational environment or it is a professional. I usually work with women who are in their mid-career and they're looking to transition. So I do design these creative workshops and coaching programs that lead to clarity, connection, and growth. So that's what I do today.
What do your workshops look like and feel like? And why do people usually come to you? What are their struggles?
Yes, so their struggles usually are if it's a team or it's an organizational setting, it's usually about team communication, it's about aligning goals, it's about organizational strategy. So anything that's got to do with the team and organizational development. But usually, when I do one on one or individual coaching programs or workshops, it's usually something that's either in a career transition or it could be dealing with imposter syndrome. The latest one that I've done was on intelligent failure. So I've done a two workshops back to back using Lego Serious Play methods. So with Lego bricks, I've done those two workshops in Belgrade where we worked on how to overcome our mistakes or failures and turn them into success because this happens to everybody. It's how we deal with it, what makes the difference.
Mistakes, yeah, something that people usually don't like, but it's a big part of the process of learning.
Absolutely.
Um, do you have some advice, something that you could share with our audience? Like, first, how to even consider mistakes? What does it even mean to make a mistake and how to overcome that fear?
hmm So that's a good question. In this specific workshop that I called Intelligent Failure, I divide these failures or mistakes into three types. So one is something that happens along the way that just happens due to human error. Then we have a second type of mistake we'd have or failure that is kind of a collective failure that comes throughout the team. So many factors need to come for this mistake to happen. It could be that you're working in a team and then there is a new tool that's been implemented and you know that there's a certain day how to on which people should start using it, but nobody actually communicated on how to use it. So there has been a loop which led to this bigger mistake. And then we have something that's called intentional mistake, where it's usually also an organizational setting or in individual coaching, where you go through a certain process intentionally to make mistakes and then you have learnings from it. For example, it could be a marketing agency that tests some product. For example, it could be a language program, and then you test a certain advertisement and see who is your audience. You get actually data out of it and you get the learning. So whenever a mistake happens, especially if we're talking on a personal level, I would say that we often tend to close up as human beings because that's where our brain goes straight away. That we look in what have we done, what we have done wrong, uh, how do we actually recover from this is the key element to it. Often there is shame element to it, or where we think we're not good enough and we're not encouraged to try again. So I would say always try again and see what you can learn from it and look forward. And only by practice you can make things perfect or close to perfect.
Oh. Perfect. It's a dangerous word. I don't know why it even exists.
You're right. Yeah. That's why I said close to perfect, because perfection is also very subjective. So trial and error and keep going.
Thank you, Milena. So, as you mentioned, you had like a big career, so many different things. But was there a specific moment when you thought, okay, I'm an entrepreneur, or I'm gonna become an entrepreneur? Like, what's the story behind? What are your reasons for that?
Right. So when I moved from Dubai to Germany, this is where I currently live in a triangle of Cologne, Brussels, Belgrade. But initially, when I moved after 16 years to Germany, it was a country where I didn't have any connections, in a sense of my network, where I didn't know the language. It's mostly German, right? So it was quite difficult for me to find my path when that transition happened, and that was in 2019. And then I thought, okay, I did work for some corporate businesses and startups. But I've decided to actually gather all the knowledge that I had in HR and to help people and expats who are as well struggling with the same things as I went through. And this is actually where it's really important about failure, right? So when you think something doesn't work, not to give up and keep trying. So I did try a corporate. That was great. But I've seen a lot of people that would come to Germany or would leave Dubai or any environment to go and work somewhere else. And then that was the struggle of, what is your natural next step? What do you actually want to do? So we would work on clarity to make sure that people know exactly what they would like to do, map up kind of the superpowers and super strengths, because all of us, we have them and we are naturally better in some things than others. And then once we map out that, we would find a spectrum of, for example, careers, jobs. It could be entrepreneurship that one can thrive in. And once that is mapped out, then we make a strategy on how to reach that, whether that is a job, whether that is entrepreneurship, whatever that may be. So I decided to share that path that I went through and combine it and top it up with coaching and then other Lego series, such as things as Lego series play method and so on. And this is how the idea started. At first, I started doing it pro bono, and I wanted to help people who lost their jobs in aviation during Corona. And then I've seen what a big demand it was. So I thought, okay, why not expand on that? And as I said, let me combine it with my super strengths and superpowers. And this is something that is got to do with interviewing, with assessment, with coaching, with workshops, and so on. And this is how Dynamic Development Hub came to live. And that's what I do today. It wasn't easy. But I've decided to follow that path.
And what were the challenges? I mean, somebody listening to you now, okay, she speaks English almost perfectly, let's say. uh, she has her own business, she has clarity, knows how to ask the right questions. Like, what were the challenges and how did you deal with that?
That's a great question. In each period of our lives, wherever we are, we have different challenges, I would say. And then, especially when you're moving countries and environments. So, obviously, when I was living in Dubai, it was Arabic and English speaking country. So, for me, I absolutely had no issues in that sense. I was very independent. I knew my way. I knew everything in the corporate world that I needed to know. But then when I moved to Germany, obviously one of my biggest challenges was the language. And as I mentioned before, all my connections in a sense of network was gone. I had to rebuild that. So I had to find my way. Yes, you're right. I found clarity at some point what would be my next step, but I had to figure out um, how to overcome this language barrier. Who would be my perfect client? That was really tough. I did learn German, but obviously it's never going to be as fluent as my English. So I had to figure out where and who could be my ideal client. And this is where I decided to work either with expats or with English speaking organizations or international organizations in Germany. Brussels, as I told you, that's another step in my triangle. That's a little bit easier because it's a bit more international. And then when I do work in Serbia, I work in a local language or in English. But it definitely is the culture as well. It was quite different Germany than whatever I was used to. I did live in a suitcase. That's right, but I was in and out always. So I had to adapt to the culture and to the environment, and that's something that took me a while to do. And I needed to figure out: do I invest all my time in perfecting the language? Do I invest all my time in learning more about the business that I want to do? Is it a certification that I need to obtain in as I did in Lego Serious Player Coaching? So those were my biggest challenges at that point. What can I do with the situation that I had while I'm in Germany? How to make the best out?
So many things at once.
Yes.
How did you set your priorities?
Well, it wasn't easy. It was a process, and that's the process that I use today with people who go for similar challenges. So I actually use the Ikigai method. I don't know if you've heard of it. Um, okay,
You
so
can tell us more.
yeah,
Maybe
so
maybe
it
some
is a
listeners
Japanese
prefer.
concept. It has four quadrants, basically. Um, it's in rough translation from Japanese. It means reason for being, like what is your why? So I needed to figure out or reinvent myself because while I was in Dubai, my why was really clear. But as my priorities and my life circumstances changed, those changed too. So one of the quadrant is what you love doing. Second one is what you're good at, then what the world needs, and what you could be paid for. So when those four are mapped out, and what you get in the middle is kind of your ikigai, and that's never, as I mentioned earlier, it's never one job. It's a spectrum of jobs that uses those super skills, your super powers, your kind of wish. What do you want to do and how you want to contribute to this world? And that is also not easy because there's a lot of self-reflection involved, and a lot of people often tend to forget what they're really good at, or think that if they're good at something, everybody else is. So we have to go back a couple of steps to actually say, no, actually what you do well, some other people can't. So, for example, if I have to do a workshop or a presentation in front of 1,000 people, I haven't often while I was doing recruitment campaigns with an airline. That comes very natural and easy for me. But if you give me an Excel sheet and you tell me to do something in it, I really am bad at it and I hate it. For example, my husband will do something in 10 minutes that takes me 2 weeks to do. So naturally, I would look for jobs that actually use these other strengths of mine and kind of minimize things that really make it difficult for me, that makes it heavy. So this is how I mapped out my way of what could be my natural step, and this is what I do with other people who come to me with similar situation.
Same here. Speaking in front of 1,000 people, no problem. But when I started my own business, when I was still alone for only a few months, I used to cry when I used to open, the Excel sheet, like tears. And I was desperate, literally. So the first person I hired was a virtual assistant, and it was the best decision ever. As you said, like, it's important to find out what you are good at, what you like, and what you don't. It's not sustainable.
Absolutely. 100%. 100% agree. I even tried doing a course in Excel, and then it stayed in my memory as long as that course lasted. So, why waste my energy? As you say, you found a really good solution. You got yourself a virtual assistant. I also outsourced this with my husband because he's great with that. But what you can't do yourself, just outsource it somehow if you can, and focus your energy on what you love doing and how you contribute to this world and what makes you feel good.
You mentioned languages,
Mhm.
and English is your working language, but German gives you a hard time.
German gives
And
me a lot of
Mhm.
hard time. But there is a big difference because I learned English, I would say, when I was quite young. I used to live in Iraq before Dubai and in Libya. So that was before the 90s, that was in late 80s. And I went to international American school, and that's how I just learned English. I don't even remember learning it. I just knew it. Uh, but then, in my late 30s, I had to learn German. So that's a very big difference. I have learned it in a conversational level, I would say, but I'm not confident enough to do my workshops, coaching, reviews, or anything related to HR because it's so specific and the language is so specific that if I miss one prefix, it changes the meaning. Um, I'm kind of I'm kind of getting there, but my priorities still lie in my business because you can find a way to work with what you've got, really. So yeah.
when we talk about English, it's pretty specific because you started learning pretty young, and as you said, you didn't even feel it like some kind of struggle.
Mhm.
What would be your advice for ladies who are afraid to speak? I mean, you have similar problem, but in German.
Yes.
Who understands someone who understands English but freezes when they're about to
Mhm.
speak.
Yeah.
They lack confidence.
hmm Just go ahead and speak. Just speak. What is important is that you pass your message and that you pass the energy behind it. And if you make a mistake behind, if you make a grammar mistake, that's fine. Just keep going because every time you use a different language, you are using a bridge that is going to connect you to your next, let's say, goal or whatever it may be. English played such a huge role in my career. Um, I wouldn't have gotten where I am today if I did not know English. So since I left in 2004. And even before that, I had some, I would say, gigs in Serbia, but they were usually related to English language. So just speak it. That's what I do with German. I speak. I don't care if I make a fool of myself. And actually, even though most of the Germans do speak English, and if they see that I'm making that effort, they really appreciate that, and that kind of creates a different bond than just me saying, "Oh, can we just switch to English?" So I would say doesn't matter, just speak, talk. It will come naturally. The more you speak, the more relaxed you will be, even if it's not. I'm of course not going to say perfect, but even if you think that your flow is not so fluent, but definitely it opens a lot of doors when people see that you make that effort.
And yeah, it's all about expectations. I always tell our students, like, please don't expect to speak like a native if you're not a native speaker. And like that, you can give yourself permission to make a mistake and to learn from it.
Right. I mean, also good point is just to think about when you hear foreigners speaking Serbian, when you see them trying, of course, it's not, it's a difficult language. So, but when you see them trying and saying a couple of words, although, our cases are very difficult and of course they're going to miss something, but you still appreciate them trying. So that's kind of a two-way effect as well. So just think of it. What you think about a foreigner when you hear them speaking Serbian. That's exactly how people view you when you try to speak their language, and in this case, English.
And if you tried to if you try to speak in like Serbian, probably you will not understand each other. So English is sometimes the only way.
That's right. And that's a big plus with English because that is an official international language. So wherever you go, you can use it to you know find your way around, even if it's not fluent, but you will always manage to find somebody who speaks English and who can help you out in a certain situation.
We end our business coffee talk, I need to ask you about the time when you and your mom stopped the plane and met some president or who.
That was such an interesting story. So at that time, I was still a cabin crew. I was not even working in HR. And in that time, it was still yacht. It was not Air Serbia. So I came to Belgrade and I would often come with yacht. And there was a certain time of the flight departure that I'm used to. And in this specific time, I came with another airline. And somehow I assumed, I don't know for which reason, that it departs at the same time. And then I woke up. It was like literally half an hour till the departure of this plane. It was Lufthansa to Frankfurt, and then from Frankfurt I was supposed to get to Dubai. And then I said to my mom, I mean, we live in New Belgrade, so it's quite near the airport. And I said to Mom, oh, I'm going to be late. No, what's going to happen on my job? This is going to be such a big problem. And I was still in my pajama, and she's like, okay, just go into the taxi. Luckily, I was packed. And she said, I'm going to call and I'm going to arrange something. You just rush. And I was all ready because I get, when I'm nervous, I get this like a rash. It was all red. I had this stupid t-shirt that I was sleeping in. Like it had like two peaches, some silly joke that my friends bought me. It was written like peaches, you pick them, something really ridiculous. And I was in slippers. So I told the taxi driver, please, like, if you get a fine, I'm going to pay for it. Just go. And my mom called the airport and she said that they're releasing me from a hospital and they have to wait for me because I need to reach some other hospital in Frankfurt. Then after that, I reached the airport. And of course, I dropped my phone, battery goes one way, my SIM card goes another way. So when things, it's like a chain reaction. So then she told me they're going to keep the plane for you for 10 minutes. Then she called again and she said, because she is a smart support interpreter. My mom is actually an English professor as well. So she called and she said, if they don't wait for me, that she's going to call all the newspapers that she knows. And she's going to tell them how they didn't wait for the patient to reach the plane to get to the other hospital in Frankfurt.
Wow, what a determination.
Yes,
she's gonna make
so
it.
determined. And they did wait for me because obviously they believed it. And when I turned up, I was in this hotel slippers, which really looked like I came from a hospital with my hair all messy and like makeup from me going out last night. I really looked like I was released from some mental institution. So they were like, okay, they were all looking, and all the passengers, of course, stared at me because the flight was delayed because of me. So as I was going in, everybody was looking at me, oh, you're the one, and my heart was like pulping and so on. But then I think that delay was for around 15 minutes, but we did manage to stop the plane. And I reached Frankfurt and changed my shoes there and like combed my hair and brushed my teeth at the airport.
What can we learn from this experience?
Yeah, well, check your flights, check your boarding pass, triple check it the night before, make sure that you know when your flight is. Because there's other stories as well where I used to come 24 hours earlier to the airport and so on. So I have plenty of those stories. Make sure you know when your flight is and, put 3 alarms. Let somebody know in the family as well. Just make sure. I don't think that I would have been lucky next time to stop a plane.
Yeah, that's really something. I haven't heard it many times before.
Yeah.
Final question for today. What keeps you going when things get hard, especially when you had to move, start over, or like face some kind of obstacles?
Yeah. You can't have, it's okay. I learned that it's okay to take some time for yourself. You can't feel great every day. and you can't always expect to have solutions for everything. So, when you have those moments, and I had them obviously when I moved, when I had to make whole new circle of friends and colleagues and to see what could be my next step in life. I had obviously certain time where I felt, okay, what did I get myself into? But it's important that you take that time for yourself, because if you rush and you constantly say, "Oh, I have to get this sorted today," it's not going to work. Because quick solutions and this quick decision making often leads to disappointment. So take the time for yourself. If you need to binge watch something for 2 days, do it, and then naturally your motivation comes back. Okay, so. And now I'm relaxed. I kind of fix myself with a certain amount of dopamine, and let me now look what could my next step be. And that's something that kept me going as well. I have a couple of friends that are really lifelong friends, that they're my sounding board. So each time we're there for each other to kind of lift our spirits up and say, okay, just focus on, now it's time for you to focus what could you be doing next. So a lot of self-reflection, a lot of reaching out to people, not to be afraid to ask for help. That is something that's really important and that kept me going and opened again many doors. We shouldn't be afraid of asking for help. It could be from a colleague, it could be from a friend, it could be from anyone. Just say, look, um, I need either more support or explanation on how to do something. And once you learn that you have opportunities everywhere, and everybody is your everybody's your resource. It's up to you how to use it. That's what I as well kind of teach people when they're in their job search on LinkedIn, how to approach people. I myself recently, just for the last 3 days, I was looking for another certification, and I reached out to some people that I don't know on LinkedIn and asked, look, how did your process look like to get this certification? Do you mind having a 5-minute call with me briefly to talk about it? And often people are very open to that. So ask for help. That will keep you motivated when you see that people have done it, that people are willing to help you, that you get your guidance on what could be your next step. You find your tools, resources. I'm sure, Nina, you had something similar in your business. Like you said, you did some outsourcing. And for me, when I started my business, I had no clue how to run it. I don't know. I didn't know about social media. What is the best strategy? What is how to, sell. I'm not a sales person, so I need help with that. So identify your gaps and ask for help. Most of the time, it's free.
And people might surprise you.
Absolutely. You would be surprised how much people actually want to help.
As you mentioned, this is what I did. Like my mom, my husband, my friends, then my team, business mentors, outsourcing, like everything I did and I made so far. It's all about asking help, because you cannot do everything alone. And that fear that you're going to be rejected, okay, if it happens, but in my experience, people usually help you.
That's right. And, my mom has this good, simple saying since we were kids. It's so simple. If you ask, then you know. If you don't ask, you don't know. So,
Simple as
hey,
that.
what's the worst that can happen if you ask for help? Somebody says no, and that's the worst thing that can happen.
For anything.
No, yeah, it's just, if the worst thing is they said, no, I don't have time. If you send 10 requests, maybe, even if 9 said no, 1 will say yes. And imagine how great that is, just to connect and hear somebody's story. And in a let's say in a career setting, if you're looking for a job, just those informational chats, people already have you in mind, that you have interest in something, that you want to do something, and you will be somebody who will come probably first to their mind when it comes, for example, if there is a new job position, help, internship, and so on. So yeah, just reach out to people.
Thank you, Milena.
Thank you as well, Nina.
Thank you so much for this business coffee talk. That's it for today, ladies. I hope you enjoyed as much as I did. And please don't be shy. Reach out. We are on Instagram, Her Business Coffee Talk, if you want to grow your business and boost your English speaking skills. Until the next episode, let's coffee talk.
Bye.